Peckham is Rye Lane.
There's a lot of ethnicity, there's a lot of vibrance.
Peckham means
you go there one day and you'll go there next day and you'll see so many different things.
For me, it's like good times and bad times, my worst and my best memories.
This is just what's truly made me the man I am today.
Peckham's always been an area that is like close to my heart.
When we first came to England, which was like in the 90s, like 96, my mum was telling me that we used to do all of our food shopping in Peckham.
When I grew up, Peckham was heavily populated with Africans, Nigerians, Jamaicans.
I originally lived on Watt Street, which is like a nice part of Peckham. And then I moved to near Damilolo Taylor Centre where I experienced a different side of Peckham.
Some people wouldn't even say they're from Peckham.
Peckham always gets such a bad rep, especially with like all of the gang stuff that you would hear and with all of the violence and how bad the environment was. Because if I'm honest, we did grow up in poverty. We grew up with nothing.
Now that I'm older, it's a lot more calmer. I don't know if it's because I went to uni and came back and there's been a lot of changes, a lot of new people.
Literally, it's just spun on a sixpence. And now, literally, you ask them where they're from. I'm from Peckham, and they say it with such like gusto, such impact.
I think the thing that like initially attracted me to Peckham was that my friends lived around here. Like they go to like Goldsmiths College and like Camberwell College of Arts and stuff. But then like I think having had like lived here now, like there's more to it than that.
I actually genuinely think like the community are all together. And I will say to anyone coming from out of town, coming to Peckham, you will never find a more integrated, multicultural community than Peckham.
Obviously, like, I'm an outsider at this point. Like, I've come all the way down from Yorkshire to be in this space, and like, I don't ever feel like I'm being like told I can't be here because of something. Like, I've only felt warmth from the people here, and that's like something that I really didn't expect, especially from, you know, an area that is like so quickly being gentrified that like I feel at home somewhere that isn't my home.
Firstly, I've got a crazy love for pubs. I've got a love for its importance to any community, the way houses and residences are built around pubs. But the whole inspiration behind Prince of Peckham was my love for Desmond's. Don't know if you remember Desmond's from the 90s. Six show. We used to stay up all the time just to watch that. It was great because when I was younger, my bedtime was early doors. But Desmond's was fantastic. We used to watch it as a family. And it was just this married couple from Trinidad came to Peckham, opened up a barbershop that was home to every layer of the community, regardless of class, age, sexual orientation, whatever, it just doesn't matter. The moment you cross that door, everything's outside. Like there's a massive welcome to Peckham sign outside this pub, and it's pretty much to say, once you're in this venue, everyone's the same. We're all part of one community.
It's the creativity and thought that goes into regeneration. You don't necessarily have to kick people out. You don't have to put businesses down.
We don't realize until after the process, like we just kind of just wake up one day and we're like, wow, this era is totally different.
It's changing in a good way, but I also feel like the more it changes is the more it might exclude communities that were there before.
Yeah, obviously, I know it must be difficult for a lot of businesses who have obviously had a long history in terms of having their shops, for example, in Peckham. And obviously now with the gentrification, a lot of them I know will be forced to move somewhere else because obviously there's new businesses that are happy to be here and pay more to actually be in Peckham. So I know that causes a friction and tension in the community where a lot of people who have been here for long now have to kind of step aside.
When I see bits of history being demolished and just eradicated to make way for like ugly new buildings that contain like Sainsbury's and Gym Box and, you know, like all these like massive, huge companies that turn over millions of pounds, that's when it becomes upsetting.
Regeneration, or as we're using the word gentrification, is an inevitable movement. It's happening. And it's how do we use that inevitable force to our advantage?
In the next 5 years, I feel Peckham will be different. but I don't think much will really change. There'll be nicer houses, the high street might look a bit different, but at the same time, I don't think the gentrification that took place in places like Brixton is going to happen in Peckham. I don't think it's really going to get that far.
I would like to see investment into the area of what's already here. Like, how sick would it be if, like, I don't know, the local hair shop here got an injection of cash and got a spruce up? And how amazing would it be if, like, you know, I don't know, Peckham Pulse, like, got a refurb and they gave the kids a slide? Like, how amazing would it be if they opened up, you know, the youth club, which was across the road, but it doesn't actually exist anymore? Like, I think we need to start thinking a lot more.
I'm pro regeneration. I just think gentrification isn't done responsibly as it should be done. And it's kind of like people like myself, people like Nicholas from Pen People, it's kind of like our social responsibility to make sure that the information we gather, we're passing it on to other business owners.
And I think it was really about getting things done. And I think that was what's really important, you know, within the community. So that's how Pen People came about. So Pen People is really born out of people wanting to do things for themselves, by themselves, and I think we're a conduit in terms of trying to make that happen.
A lot more people in the community should actually be involved in that process and in the consultation, because things are changing around here very fast, and for me it's just important that they have a say.
There's a level of responsibility that comes with converting a once underused car park.
I remember it being Sainsbury's. Was it Sainsbury's? Like before Peckham Plex was there, it was a Sainsbury's. So I'm talking like way back. Then the cinema came in, £5 cinema, like, whoa, amazing. But it still had this like redundant space behind it. And if I'm honest, it's not a space that I often walked, to be completely honest with you.
With Makeshift, every single project that they develop has a different brief and a different kind of outcome. So Pop Brixton was done and created around a specific site and the needs. With Peckham, it was very clear that what was needed was small, creative studio space. So that was the largest bulk of the space that we developed here. And then, as with Pop Brixton, the similarity is that there's a public destination side to it. So there's food and drink outlets, there's entertainment space, and that really kind of delivers the public destination side of every project Makeshift does.
People like Eileen from Peckham Visions, if you don't know her, you should definitely go and find out about her. Along with other people as well, this building itself has been safe for 20 years. So given that the building is going to be here for 20 years, it's definitely, I would deem that to be a relatively long-term project. It's enough to kind of show and prove.
Couldn't believe it was Peckham. Just couldn't believe it. It was, and I say that because of the fact that that car park had been so desolate and abandoned for so long.
It was either, you know, the project or the multi-storey car park was going to be developed into a community asset or a creative space, or it was going to be knocked down for residential development.
I think the good thing about, you know, the repurposing of this particular space is that, you know, we've been able to get local residents and local young creatives involved in the process, and I think that's what's been really, really good.
Usually when there's something derelict like a car park in this area, it would be knocked down and then it will be turned into like flats and stuff, and that hasn't happened here.
What I think is different about Levels is the fact that it's very much grassroots. You know, they've got a huge percentage of local businesses, they're all grassroots startups.
I run a jewellery design company with my mum from Peckham Levels. It's a small brand called Codismaya. Everything's handmade, all with traditional techniques, lots of men's accessories, and I'm just about to start a sort of sub-daughter brand.
We are Alexander Owen Architecture, focusing on mainly residential work at the moment, but we're looking to pivot the business and start looking and creating more brand environments, brand events, more temporary structures, and just move into more of a sort of creative field.
This building has like 5 floors, and There's so many different people doing different things.
You know, it's an amazing melting pot of ideas and creative industries, and that's a really good thing to be a part of, I think.
They're putting something fantastic into the area and supporting their local community.
If I came back to Peckham and it was stripped from what it has, it would be quite sad.
When it comes to places like Peckham Levels and like Peckham like Springs and also like the Bussey building and stuff, I think that it's so sick.
If money is used correctly in areas like Peckham, and what comes out of it is ultimately for the people of that area, then regeneration is a fantastic thing.